You know that feeling when your own mother looks at you like you just broke the family china set. Except it's not porcelain. It's your entire life. Yeah, that was me last Christmas. Sitting at the dinner table, trying not to choke on my mashed potatoes because my mom just announced she had removed me from her will. For what? For marrying Marcus. Marcus, my husband, the man I love, who just happens to be black. It's 2025, for crying out loud. And here I am, in suburban New Jersey, dealing with a mother stuck in a time warp, where skin color apparently matters more than love or happiness. My mom, the so-called pillar of the community, the woman who taught me to always be polite and never raise my voice, transformed into a bitter, judgmental queen overnight. Her exact words? "You made your choice, Sarah. You're cut off. I won't have my money going to that man." She didn't even finish the sentence properly, as if she was too disgusted to say the word black. I could feel every eye at the table drilling holes into me, waiting for me to cry, scream, or maybe just disappear. But you want to know what I did? I smiled, a little sarcastic curl on my lips, the kind that says, "Thanks, Mom. That's real mature." Because honestly, what else can you do when the woman who's supposed to love you unconditionally suddenly acts like you just confessed to a crime? You see, Marcus is not just my husband. He's my best friend, my partner in crime, and the reason I laugh every day. He's brilliant, kind, and makes me want to be better. Not because he's black, but because he's him. And yes, he's black, which apparently makes him a villain in my mother's eyes. The funny thing is, this wasn't a sudden revelation. Mom's disapproval simmered under polite smiles and forced hugs for years. Subtle digs about cultural differences and people knowing their place. I brushed it off, naively hoping she'd come around. I was wrong. The will came in the mail 2 weeks after Christmas. A thick envelope, heavier than I expected. I opened it with trembling fingers, hoping for a change of heart, some sign of love or acceptance. Instead, a cold typed letter from her lawyer said I was completely excluded. Not a penny, not a house, not a single heirloom. I'm still supposed to be the good daughter, the responsible one, the one who calls every Sunday and sends flowers on her birthday. But when it comes to money and inheritance, apparently, my love life cancels all that out. I took the letter to Marcus. He looked at me like I was insane, then took my hand and told me, "We don't need her money. We have each other." And I believed him. But inside, a slow burn started. A fire fueled by disappointment, anger, and that icy sting of betrayal. So, here I am, Sarah, the daughter disowned by her mother for choosing love over bigotry. And guess what? This story is just getting started. Because if you think for 1 second that I'm going to sit quietly and let her walk away with all that money while I'm left with nothing, well, you clearly don't know me very well. I'm no victim. Not anymore. This isn't just about money. It's about respect, justice, and maybe a little bit of poetic revenge. The kind that makes people regret underestimating you. But I'll get to that soon. For now, I'm just playing along, smiling that sarcastic smile, pretending everything is fine, while quietly planning my next move. Because in this game, the quiet ones are always the most dangerous. So, after getting cut out of like yesterday's trash, you might expect me to spiral into a pity party. Nope, not my style. I dusted off my "don't mess with me" attitude and started thinking, what now? Because honestly, what use is money from someone who thinks I'm less than human? I started digging. I mean, really digging. You know how they say knowledge is power? Turns out, it's the first weapon in my little war. First, I went through public records, tax filings, and anything else I could get my hands on. My mom might have thought she was clever, but trust me, there's no hiding in this digital age. Her mansion? Overvalued on the books. Her investments? Riskier than she ever admitted at family brunches. And that art collection she's so proud of, half of it might be fakes. Not that anyone else cared, but that was the first chip in her armor. Meanwhile, I kept up appearances. I called her every Sunday, sent those damn flowers, even laughed at her terrible jokes. She ate it up, believing I was the obedient daughter, broken and defeated. Oh, how wrong she was. Then there was Marcus, calm as always, reminding me that revenge is a dish best served cold. He suggested I hire a lawyer, not to sue, but to negotiate. I laughed. Negotiate? With a woman who disowned her own daughter over love? Yeah, right. Instead, I went guerrilla. I signed up for every financial newsletter, every insider tip, and even got cozy with a few investigative journalists. It's funny how people open up when you mention family secrets and inheritance disputes. One name kept popping up, Harold Benson. The family's old business partner, long retired but still holding the purse strings in some shady trusts. Harold and my mom had a falling out years ago. Rumor had it, he knew things about the Benson fortune that would make your head spin. I reached out, played innocent. "Oh, Mr. Benson, I just want to understand the family legacy," I said, sweetly. Harold was suspicious at first, but intrigued by my boldness. After a few phone calls, I got a meeting. Over lukewarm coffee in a dim cafe, Harold leaned in. "Your mother isn't as untouchable as she pretends," he whispered. "There are loopholes in that will. Trust me, I've seen worse. And if you're smart, you'll play her game, but on your terms." That was the green light I needed. From then on, I gathered everything. Old receipts, tax discrepancies, eyewitness accounts of my mom's manipulative deals. I made a dossier thicker than her Bible on Sundays. But the best part? I found out she had secretly donated a huge chunk of her charity funds to a far-right group. The very group preaching traditional family values while turning a blind eye to their own corruption. Hypocrisy at its finest. The plan was clear. Hit her where it hurts. Not just her wallet, but her reputation. I wasn't just going to claim what was mine. I was going to expose the monster behind the perfect facade. Meanwhile, I played my role perfectly at the next family gathering. The smile was back, the sweet daughter everyone loved. I even complimented her new pearl necklace, the one bought with money she pretended to earn herself. She beamed, probably thinking she won this battle. But I was already 10 moves ahead, waiting for the perfect moment. You see, revenge isn't about shouting from rooftops or causing chaos. It's a slow burn, a game of chess, and trust me, I'm no amateur. Marcus watched all this unfold with that calm, reassuring smile. "Just remember," he said one night, "make sure it's legal and final. No loose ends." I nodded, knowing exactly what he meant. Because this isn't just about a will anymore. It's about rewriting my story. About proving that love, integrity, and a little bit of cunning beat bigotry and greed every single time. So yeah, I'm disowned. I'm excluded. but I'm far from defeated. And if my mom thinks she's seen the last of me, well, she's got another thing coming. The day finally came. The moment I'd been quietly planning for months. The perfect mix of justice, irony, and a little showmanship. You know, the kind of move that leaves people speechless and questioning every polite word they ever said. I invited my mother to what I called a family legacy seminar. Of course, I framed it as a chance for us all to come together, reminisce about the past, and discuss the future. Polite, right? Nothing suspicious at all. She showed up, pearls gleaming, perfect posture, and that tight smile that screams, "I'm better than you." She was ready to bask in the usual admiration, expecting me to be groveling for forgiveness or money. Instead, she got the exact opposite. I had hired that investigative journalist I mentioned, the one hungry for a scoop bigger than just a celebrity divorce. And Harold Benson? Oh, he was there too, seated quietly in the corner, watching with a smirk. The presentation started with the usual small talk. I praised my mother's charitable work, her commitment to family values, and even complimented her taste in art. Then, bam, charts, documents, emails, photos, all the dirt I'd collected laid out on a big screen. The room went silent. Even my mom's perfect smile faltered for a second. Then she masked it with a cough. First, I revealed the financial inconsistencies, inflated appraisals, hidden trusts, questionable donations. Everyone gasped when I showed the paper trail leading to that extremist group. The same group that preached hate but gladly accepted her money. Next came the art collection. Half of those masterpieces, expensive fakes, paid for with funds she claimed were for renovations on the community center. The center that never got a dime, by the way. Harold leaned forward and shared insider knowledge about shady deals Mom had buried from the family and the IRS. I let the room soak it in, watching her sink lower into her chair, the queen dethroned, and just when the shock started to turn into whispers and stares, I dropped the final bomb. "Mom," I said, voice calm but sharp, "you disowned me for marrying the man I love. You took me out of your will, convinced you were punishing me. But guess what? Love doesn't discriminate, and neither do I." I paused for effect. "That house you left to your charity? The money you promised to the community center? It's all tied up in legal battles now, thanks to some friendly journalists and a few very interested lawyers." I smiled, the same sarcastic smile I'd worn since Christmas. "You see, disowning me didn't make me disappear. It made me stronger. And it made you vulnerable." The room exploded with murmurs. My mother was pale, eyes darting like a trapped animal. "Maybe next time," I added, "think twice before you try to erase your own daughter over something as trivial as love." She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. For once, the mighty matriarch was silenced. After the seminar, the fallout was immediate. The media caught wind of the story, and the scandal spread like wildfire. Donors pulled back, community leaders distanced themselves, and even her closest friends whispered behind closed doors. Meanwhile, Marcus and I, we didn't just survive, we thrived. The small inheritance I'd received from my late grandfather, who never cared about color or bigotry, was enough to start a new foundation, one promoting love, diversity, and true family values. Ironically, it grew bigger than anything my mother ever dreamed of. And the best part? She had no control over it, no access, no say. In the end, I didn't just reclaim my dignity. I rewrote the story. From rejected daughter to the woman who exposed a legacy built on lies and prejudice. So yeah, maybe my mother thought cutting me off was the final word. But in this game, the last laugh is the sweetest. And honey, I'm laughing all the way to